Now we need a pilot for the end of our punch. And I found this little ejector pin. It's a 3/16 ejector pin, and we'll cut it off. We'll put a parabolic shape on the end of it, and that'll be our pilot punch. And I've put a 632 screw through to hold that in place. This is just a bottomed hole. More properly, there would be a hole right up the center of our punch all the way, and it would have a headed pilot punch in the center of our ejector punch. But since this is an economy die, I just put a 632 hole in the side of it, and when I get to town and get a 632 set screw, I can lock that down. But first, let's go ahead and determine the length of this pilot, and we'll get this made. And I've just put this ejector pin in my drill, and I'll go over to the belt sander and I'll put the shape in the end of it by eye. And now we need a method of stripping the punch back out of the stock. And I've got this piece of dye rubber, which is actually urethane. And I purchased this on, I believe, Amazon. And all we have to do with this just pushes over the pierce punch. And all we have to do is cut it off at the right length. It has to be slightly longer than the pierce punch. So we'll do that now. It looks like we need that about I'd say 13/16. Yeah. So we'll get a piece of tape to aid, check, I can't talk today. So we'll get a piece of tape to aid us in marking the cutoff position. Here's our urethane stripper, and what I've done is I've cut it off on a bandsaw to length, and then I've sanded it square on the belt sander. This stuff is difficult to mill and to cut on a lathe, so that's the way I found is best to work with this. And I've cut it off so that it stands about a little over, oh no, actually it's about a 1/16 of an inch longer than the punch, and then the pilot extends beyond the urethane stripper by a little bit because the pilot has to pull the stock into position before the stripper starts to grip. If the stripper grips first, then when the pilot tries to enter, it can't move the stock and it'll just tear the hole open. So that should be good right there. All we're lacking is a little set screw to hold that pilot into place. So with that said, now our whole cutting system is complete, and our locating system, all we have to do is put some stock guides on the lower half of the die. All right, boys, this die is ready to use, and this is what the raw material will look like. Now, these are the old ones, and they already have the holes punched in them, and we'll be remaking these, and we'll be punching this rectangular hole here. And between these two parts, actually there's two of these parts and one of these. Between the two styles of parts here, there's a different distance from the edge of the stock to the center of the punch. Same here, center of the stock, edge of the stock to the center of the punch. So what we've done is, on this die, we've made little flip stops here so that on the one side of the flip stop, it'll accommodate this part, and then when we turn them around, it'll accommodate this part. So the way it works is, I bring the top die down until the pilot enters the pre-drilled hole, and then I gently push the strip up against the stop. Of course, it's pivoting on that pilot hole, and that should provide the axial line up here as we progress through. Chunk, chunk, chunk. So, okay, so we're ready to go. Well, my mic just shut off, so I'm re-recording this. So if I remember what I went over before, what I was saying is I hope that this die holds up through 49 pierces, because recklessly I just made the punch and the die out of mild steel. So we'll see how that works out. So on the next video, we'll prepare the raw stock, and we'll go ahead and try this die out, see how it works, how it holds up. So until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and this is Mike, signing out.